Afternoon, everybody. It's Romero17, and I did a Twitter poll. I asked if y'all wanted me to segment this or do it in 40 minutes. Y'all said 40 minutes, so here we go. So the first fight right here, I got Dustin Poirier, and I'm fighting against Nate Diaz. It was a solid 2-bar connection, and I took the 2-bar because usually solid 2-bar connections are fine. And to that extent, it was fine when it came to the feet. Now this guy has Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz has pretty solid boxing. I don't know if it's a level 4 or level 5, but his health stats are insane. And I have Dustin. He's a B+ in this game, and I think there's a few things that he could do, but they could do better for him next game. Probably give him a little bit better boxing combos. And something that caught me off guard was that push into the overhead. And whenever I see somebody get me against the cage, I usually throw that lead uppercut there to intercept the takedown. The rear uppercut takes too long, and right away I kind of noticed like this guy knew his stuff. Using the retreat there for some reason, and I think I was focused on trying to frame trap him within my own fist with the hook combination. Then he's doing a really good job with the meta combinations, but I didn't feel comfortable grappling because things can change when it comes to 2-bars and whatnot when you get to the ground in terms of denials. On the feet it can be perfectly fine, so I really wanted to avoid the grappling exchanges. And then that's a good combo. He goes up to the head and works twice to the body, jab, rear hook. And I was just trying to keep mental notes on what this dude was doing, what he was trying to get me to do. And what it seemed like was trying to get me to exchange whenever he was exchanging. Now look, he tries to frame trap me to the cage. I lunge, but I lunge with my block on, and I knew that, so I knew the first strike didn't land, but I managed to drop him. Catches me with the head kick. I'm back in kicking range. And so I got the first drop of the fight. Go for a front kick. Lunge away from the jab. And I kind of felt like I was in cruise control, but for some reason, I definitely felt myself being a little bit more aggressive than usual. And there was a critical error there. The elbow didn't land, and I took some big shots to the body as my short-term stamina was low. So I was slightly concerned about that. But when I'm playing with Dustin Poirier, my goal is always to catch you as you try to fire back. Good clinch attempt. I really didn't expect that at all. And right there, this is what I was talking about when it comes to those connections. It'll load up and it just simply won't go through. But when I'm playing with Dustin, I'm generally trying to outwork my opponent in the pocket, and I'm trying to be defensively responsible. I usually try to focus on doubling up on lead hand combinations akin to what Dustin does, and I'll usually look to get the finish sometime in the 3rd round. I don't like to rush my finishes. And there he was really determined to go to top mount. And I get the top mount myself, go for the triangle armbar, tries to transition out. And to me, this was a pretty good first round. I took more damage than I would have liked. I whiffed on some strikes that I wouldn't have liked. But I honestly felt going into the 2nd round, I'm like, yeah, I should have nothing to worry about. But I made some critical errors that I started to take into account in my next few fights after this. And you'll see that. So one thing I realized, alright, this player has a really vast array of strikes that he's very comfortable with cycling with his boxing combinations, where it's going head, body, body, or body, head, body. And especially with Nate, you know, him having the stats that he has, and in the ground, him having a triangle that can go switch into an armbar, and he goes for a slip straight, trying to time my jab. Get the hit stun. Using the T-kick to keep him at range. Go to the body, go to the head. And if there's any mistake that I do have a bad habit of doing, it's mistiming a lunge. And that definitely changed the dynamic of the fight, because that was a hard rock. That was an extremely hard rock. But I had no reason to lunge there. There's not a lot of strikes from Nate Diaz aside from a head kick that I really have to lunge there. I get that he was going with the jab, but that was well timed on his part to follow up with a hook and trap me there and catch me. Although I did honestly feel that I lunged with my block on, but I'm back up on my feet. I don't want to take any chances of getting submitted. And they're very smart for my opponent. I noticed he went for the jab uppercut hook to try to frame trap me. And here, I felt as if I needed to get that rock back for some reason, so it's kind of going against what I always preach. And he gets another sneaky clinch attempt, and I get the break relatively easily. But if there's one thing watching back on this video, I shouldn't have felt like I needed to get this rock back, especially in a 3-round fight. If I know I won the first round, which I did, I can drop one round and win the third. I'm working his body, using the lead hook rear body uppercut that now a lot of people are starting to do since I started streaming on Ranked. I noticed I got that reaction from the body straight feint, and he fires off a straight to stop me, intercepting me when I get in the pocket. Yeah, and that was a beautiful pull counter. Now instead of going a pull counter to the head, he went to a pull counter to the body. Not a lot of people do that. Fire off a block counter against that combination. And right there, I should have been content. That's my mistake. I should have been content. I got the rock. I don't need to pursue anymore. And I get another head rock again. And here I should have left it alone. I should have taken the time off in this round and not make any crucial mistakes. Because right now, I'm up 2 rocks. I'm up a knockdown. And he gets a slip straight body hook, new body hook, and I rock him again. And there's 50 seconds off on the clock. And if there's anything I'll tell myself when it comes to getting a fight like this, I went to the body. My short-term stamina was low, and I went to the body and got dropped. Rocked him again. He goes for the 1-2, and I was in the heat of the moment. I over-pursued, and he timed me going to the body. Got a critical rock as I went for the lead body hook. I got uppercutted, body rock, and head rock, and the fight is over. Night for Dustin Poirier. So what did I learn from that fight going into that after that loss? That's my first loss on Ranked. I should have taken the pedal off. Once I got those rocks, I should have recognized that that player was good and I wasn't going to get him out of there easily. Instead, with 30 seconds left on the clock, I took an unnecessary risk that I didn't need to take, and that cost me the fight. I'd honestly feel like if I fought that player again, I would make the changes necessary and I would win. But I took that into consideration. It was a good fight. I lost, and I have to own up to that. So now I'm going to get to Stephen Thompson. Now, when you're fighting different characters, there's always a specific meta that the metagame follows when it comes to UFC. But when it comes to unique characters like Stephen Thompson or Zabit Magomedsharipov, there's always a few things that you know that you're going to be wary of, and it's going to be sidekicks, keeping at range. And here I have RDA and welterweight. A lot of people always talk about my Thompson, but I kind of feel that my RDA is pretty good too. With RDA, I want to fire off my Muay Thai combinations. I want to generally fall off with a leg kick after my third strike or after the first. But I noticed the footwork of Stephen Thompson, especially in round 1, makes it really hard to catch him. You're playing footsies with him a little bit. So I don't want to chase too much. I want to intercept him. And I'm taking a note of his blocking patterns or where he wants to block his head. And there's one thing I don't recommend. If your lead leg is getting kicked, this is like more so for my opponent. If your lead leg is getting kicked, especially by somebody like RDA who has good power and tree chopper, you get that leg checked. Not only do you lose a lot of power from the leg health damage, but you also run the risk of getting a leg health event. And all I was thinking about was how, with this Stephen Thompson player, it was jab, jab, jab straight to the body, but it didn't seem like he really knew his ranges too much, and he wanted me to come in so he could back up and intercept me. As you notice there, I missed time to leg kick there. And there I sidestepped the side kick. I figured that was coming. Pushes me against the cage, and immediately I fired off a head kick, got him down to side control, and I pretty much secured the round for myself there. But if there's one thing I've noticed a lot now with players, and I keep that now in my head, you know, they'll go push, push. Kind of akin to what I did in that first fight with throwing some teeps to the body and then like firing off in the head. A lot of people will side kick you twice, take you against the cage, and then fire off the head kick. So I was cognizant of that, and I managed to capitalize. And because I was throwing so many leg kicks, he preemptively blocked low, and that head kick was there for the taking. But got a minute left in this round. Got a relatively easy denial, and again, I'm keeping in mind, like, I don't have to rush. I don't have to get a submission. If I can maintain position before my submission, I'll be fine. But didn't deny that, but he chose to get up aside from being in a dominant position. Intercepted him on his whiffs. And when you see somebody doing those moving slip combinations, it's a sign that they're in moving slip strikes. I'm sorry. He's doing like a moving hook. So what he's expecting me to come back and strike with a straight strike and catch me at vulnerability. But I know I won the round. And that's an unnecessary risk again. And he wants to tee off of me while he's against the cage. I know he wants to get that rock back. Lunge away from the jab straight. Petty.
Alright, let's take a look at some of the action here. Here's a big leg kick.
But so far the game plan's working with RDA.
Here's a devastating
Getting my leg kicks off, alternating from leg to head, occasionally to body. Managed to get some grappling off.
There's a powerful kick to the body.
But I'm also aware that's only the first round. I've already saw like I could win the first round and still lose if I make a mistake. So I'm gonna stay disciplined and stick to my game plan unless my opponent shows that he's gonna try to stop it by intercepting me. And then what I do after the first round, I generally like to feint the first strike to see if they're looking to slip it. And once I get close in range, that's when I'll kind of unload with boxing combinations. And again, Thompson has a lead, I think a lead oblique kick or a rear oblique kick, one of those two. I don't know why he was throwing off that lead leg kick. He made it relatively obvious that that was his way of entering. Most of his strikes that start with the lead leg, he's going into the pocket with them. And there he makes the mistake of trying to fire back instead of recovering. Good slip. And I went for a flying knee. And if you notice, when he's throwing those body kicks in punching range, not the spinning body kicks, they don't do as much damage. If you throw body kicks in punching range, you don't have to worry about them as much. So keep that in mind.
Nice inside leg
Good leg kick.
Just a slip there. He got tagged there.
And then I know he wants to get that drop back. So this is that minute, that flurry that I'm going to play back, kill his stamina a little bit. And good look, he goes body head. I keep in mind of that. But he's not letting his short-term stamina recover. I don't need to know his stamina. I don't have to look at it to know that his short-term stamina was low there with the barrage of strikes that he's throwing. Especially because Stephen Thompson is not a boxer. He's a kickboxer. So getting into boxing exchange, especially with somebody like RDA, who I believe has better boxing than him in this game, or at least more power in the pocket for sure, I wouldn't recommend throwing anything more than 2 strikes. But I mistimed the double off for the rock there. That's fine. If there was anything I could tell this player, King Fame, rely more on your kicks, rely more on your side kicks, rely more on your roundhouse body kicks. Don't stay too long in the pocket with Stephen Thompson. You see there, 1-2, 1-2. That's unnecessary. You don't need to do that with Stephen. Point fight. Try to fire off a delayed head kick there. He gets me one of his own. But then that meta stuff, trying to go jab, body straight with Stephen Thompson, is not ideal. What did I tell y'all in that first round? He's firing off that lead leg kick. Got leg rocked now. Fired off that lead leg kick that I was kicking the entire fight. He threw it, got checked, leg rocked, and I used the opportunity to get him down to the ground. Don't make that mistake when you're fighting unranked. And again, there's a minute left in the fight. That was the worst possible thing that could have happened for this dude. And now I'm in cruise control. I have that loss in the back of my mind. I know, I'm like, man, I really threw that fight away. But there's 20 minutes left. Stephen Thompson's not going to submit me from his back. He doesn't have a 2-stage Kimura from side control. I ain't worried about all that. I'd have to really royally mess up in the 3rd round for me to lose this fight. Get some ground and pound off, alternate from the head to the body, and I'm relatively fine. With RDA, it's always going to be chop the legs, work the body, alternate from the lead body hook to the lead head hook, and combo off from there. Once I get my opponent's leg health down, I know it's only a matter of time. I want to land quality shots. I don't want to land a bunch of shots. It's always about quality. Shots I can get a hit stun on. And again, he's throwing those kicks in punching range and not doing as much damage as this dude would like. I'm preemptively slipping. so I can kill his stamina. Right there, I know my short-term stamina is low, so I didn't move it back, so I wouldn't take the full strength of the head kick. And if you notice the way I'm using my head movement, I'm preemptively moving, just taking guesses based on how the fight has gone to attack, to defend, I mean. See that? I'm gauging a reaction for him. He starts to slip once I overload his block with straight strikes, and now he's trying to go for moving body kicks. Like, I'm just pressuring him with distance here. I personally kind of did want this finish. In hindsight, again, I shouldn't have tried to force it, but I'm pressuring with distance now. And then that's a big whiff. You notice how much of my stamina that I lost there? When I hit the air, I capitalized and got to the tie clinch, and he's kicking my leg. Good on his part to interrupt the tie clinch now. And there is, in first, what did I tell you? In round one, he was doing that empty slip to rear hook, and I capitalized on that, and I threw that lead hook. And again, instead of keeping his distance, all right, that's a good shot. But he makes a mistake of doubling up and not letting his stamina recover, and now this is looking bad. He has the zombie stance. Trip him to kill his stamina to the body. Shoulder saves him from an auto KO. And here I'm teeing off from the hook combinations to the body to the head. So body to the legs. And you're not going to win any boxing exchanges with Stephen Thompson here. Fire off an elbow to beat the hook. And there, it's only a matter of time. I probably should have just taken a step back. I didn't really need to go this hand, but again, he's going for that hook. For off that lead elbow. Another body kick. Notice I'm going lead hook body kick. Not a lot of people are adjusting to that. And instead of taking me down, he goes for a punch. I wouldn't have really recommended that, especially when you're trying to avoid getting finished. And he gets dropped again. Go to stack guard, but I did everything right up until this point in terms of not forcing a finish. And again, makes a crucial mistake. Tries to fire back in the pocket against RDA. Significant damage was done, and this fight is over. Now, really quickly, I just want to make a special part of this video to the lag switcher known as I See No Evil. Like, really, this is extremely sad, but it didn't really matter because no matter what he did, no matter how much you try to lag switch somebody, it's never going to make up for your deficiency in skill. Adios. So in this fight, I was going against a guy named BJJ Grappler 31. I was in the party with Unibot. This was like the day after our fight on ESFL. We were just talking about like certain things that went wrong for both of us. And sorry for like the first, I think 6 seconds maybe have gone away. I don't remember. But I wanted to see what kind of counter player this player was. Now there's generally counters that either kind of focus on like trying to copy Ed. There's counter players that pressure with distance, try to get you to overreact so they can catch you in the pocket, because Connor's health stats are extremely high. And he goes for a trip to the body and fires off to the head. And all they do is that they stay kind of almost glued to you, because they know that Connor's footwork stats plus his chin stat plus his body stat plus his leg health stat, it makes him extremely annoying to deal with. And all he has to really do is chip away at you. So me being cognizant of that when it comes to fighting Connor, especially because I have a few spars with the best Connor player in the world, I'm familiar with how much of an issue it is fighting with Connor. If there's one thing that I know when it comes to Conor McGregor, is that the combination that a lot of people like to throw is jab, lead, hook, straight. And because that Celtic cross is really hard to slip, so it's a combo I have in the back of my head. So because this is Conor, I'm making sure that all my strikes, they're going to land on his block. Look, he's taking the gas pedal off. He's backing up. And I'm canceling my strikes if they're out of range. So he's playing that little like high block, low block game, so it's making it a little bit hard for me to go to the body. But at the same time, if I can catch him with leg kicks as he's throwing his strikes, then it makes it much easier for me. I don't know what he was trying to do there. I don't know, maybe he was trying to throw a side kick or whatnot. And then I'm intercepting him. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to be able to out-brawl Connor, especially in round 1 because of his shin stat. But if I can outpoint him in round 1, it'll work a lot better. But he's doing a good job of getting in the pocket. If he sees me firing off, he wants to back up. You see that? He's trying to back up just by a little bit to try to get me to gas and lose my stamina. But good denial on his part. And when I play ranked, I'm always trying to keep mental notes of what my opponent is doing. I want to take notes. You see right there, that's the first sign of that combination. Jab, lead hook, straight. Like, I'm like, what is this guy's game plan? Is he trying to get me to slip into something? Is he trying to get me to blow my load a little bit too early? And I know in the pocket, he's firing off hooks, so that means he is trying to get me to slip and get rocked inside there. Now, I managed to get the first rock, but because of the way this dude is playing, I don't want to force any finishes, especially against Connor. And I don't know if you guys peeped that, but now he went jab, hook, hook. So he and I think that's a response to me trying to slip the straight. So that's pretty good. But great round. I won that first round. So he's a very meta, from what I can tell. And I was also kind of like talking to Unibond at party, basically how this fight was going. And if there's anything that's a little bit unnerving, is when you see a guy not react to your strikes. You know, it's one thing when you got somebody who's like bobbing and weaving all over the place. If anything, if I'm throwing something and I see my opponent's not overreacting, that's more like, all right, I know what to expect. Now there, I should have canceled that body uppercut because he stepped out of range after the hook. That's the beauty of what that chin does in there. That's a really another good solid combination. Jab, jab, straight, lead hook. Very simple, but it's really effective, especially when it comes to frame trapping. And for some reason, the low single didn't come out there. I think it has something to do with the stance and the positioning against the cage and whatnot. And again, he's firing off that hook, so he wants me to slip into it. And notice, I'm kind of playing the same game as him. I'm trying to back up, get him to whiff, and then he checks a leg kick. Pretty annoyed. And again, that low single's not coming out. That was probably, I was getting slightly annoyed at that. I'm not going to lie, I was getting slightly annoyed. I was like, man, you got to be kidding me. I threw that. I swear I was in the proper range for that. But, got to have a short memory when I'm playing ranked. I can't let something little that bothers me affect me for the rest of the fight. So, back to the game plan, stay focused. If I can't grapple him, it's got to be relaxed. And there's one issue with trying to go high block, low block. And he changed his stance. That's what he's doing. All right. High block, low block is that if your opponent is going to the head, you're guaranteed to eat at least one of those strikes. And there, that hook is catching me. So I'm keeping a mental note. But when you're going to high block, low block, you're guaranteed to eat some chip damage along the way. But I'm hoping for the next game that when it comes to checking and catching kicks, that they're gonna have an alternate input, like maybe L2, R2, and maybe using the right stick. And now I'm starting to open up. There's a minute left in the round. I don't have to overcommit on anything. My output is relatively high from a defensive standpoint, but because I'm landing quality shots to the body and a good amount of shots to the head, and I'm taking my time, the amount of shots that I'm throwing doesn't matter because I'm being extremely calculated with what I'm throwing. Had I tried to get him out of there in round 1, especially in a 5-round fight, that wouldn't have ended well for me. And that jab hook. Every time I fail, I'm getting that reaction. He's going to the body to block low. And there I'll make the adjustment. I'm blocking low. And I know that now that I'm ducking, he's going to plan to throw an uppercut. There it is. Fire off the Superman punch off the cage to get the rock. Again at the end of the round, hit him with the Superman punch off the cage. So we're going to be heading to round 3. I'm going to make him watch this to be annoying. So if there's any like mental games I do like to play on ranked, if I'm fighting somebody and maybe their style is this is an effective style, nothing against it, it's effective, you know, just trying to crowd somebody with distance. You're not doing much, but you're just relying on your block to kind of wear them out. If I fight somebody like that and maybe I got a rock at the end of the round and they're showing my highlights, if you want to mentally screw with somebody when you're playing on ranked, just go through the highlights. If you know it's all going to be your highlights, just don't press skip. Just let it go through. Let him just sit there and watch himself get rocked. This guy's like very, you can tell by his style, he's very anti-grappler. Now, into round 3, the stamina's really high. And at this point, if you're down 2 rounds, it's going to be up to me to make a mistake to really drop this fight. And that's the hook. Catches me as I'm throwing a knee. And I'm trying to go up to the head with the front kick, but he's really not opening up that head. So that kind of shows me that his head health is lower than his body health, which is to be expected. And I fire off the jab, straight Lee hook there. And I know he's going to try to slip. Yep, stepped out of range there. And I'm kind of smelling the blood in the water to an extent. And there I made a crucial mistake. Oh, his short-term stamina had to have been low there. Threw that leg kick. Fuck, why is that reaching me? Yeah, I was getting a little bit annoyed. I'm like, that hook's hitting me when I'm backswing, but I have to stay relaxed, just let my head up recover. So, fun fact. There's a mistake that a lot of players do. And this mistake is, when they're rocked and their block is not overcommitted, you guys start to sway. So when you guys start swaying and your block is fine, where you can afford to block the next strike and by then your stamina will recover, you put yourself at risk to get dropped. You put yourself at risk to take more damage instead of relying on your block. Ideally, the only time, or rather the best time to use head movement is when you're preemptively swaying because you're 100% or at least 90% confident that your opponent's going to throw this kind of strike. That's when you want to use your head movement. And there, I don't want to over pursue. I know I head rocked him. Got him tie clinch. I managed to deny that. Took me up into over under. I want to get to a stall position, so I just want to drain him out, get to double unders. But good denial on his part. But yeah, back to what I was saying. When you get to that, when your block is overcommitted, that's when you really want to use head movement, or when you're preemptively swaying. When you're rocked, I wouldn't rely on head movement unless you're really 100% sure that your opponent is going to throw like 2 straight strikes in a row or something. It's just too risky, especially when your head health is low, your stamina is low, especially from getting rocked. Be smart with your defense. Recognize where your block is at. So managed to get the break there. Herb D steps in. He says, y'all got to stop hugging each other. That shit weird. And there, every time I feel like a shot's not going to land. And the fact that that one lead hook rocked him, that's a hard rock. And he made this guy did a really subtle but good thing. He stopped moving. Didn't let himself get into head kick range. So he crowded my kick. I tried to get a little bit fancy there with the lead to the rear leg kick. And then he's trying to sway. Condition him to sway. Okay, if there's anybody that's really hard to finish, it's going to be Conor McGregor. Managed to drop him again. Jab, straight leg hook. He tried to fire it back. And that's how I knew like his head off his shot. I'm going to give him respect because he did give me a good fight when it came to defense. But coming into this 4th round, I'm like, alright, this is time to finish the fight. I remember losing that first fight. I'm not going to get too overzealous, but I want to capitalize on his mistakes. I'm fucking him up right now.
What's the matchup?
McGregor, and he has McGregor. I have Aldo. Yep, with Uni. Send him an invite to the party. Now, when I'm in a situation where it's really evidently clear that I have 3 rounds up heading into the championship rounds, I don't really need to finish, but really the only way I can really lose this fight is if I make a crucial mistake. Now he goes for an empty slip. And you see what he's doing? He's really smart. He knows his block isn't fully broken. He can rely on his block, and that's what's keeping him alive in this fight. Because every single time that he tries to sway or like empty sway, that's what's messing him up, and that's what's getting him sway, rocked, dropped, and everything. But he's showing an inability to change his game plan. He's not trying to keep distance. He's not in a position where he can afford to be in the pocket with me anymore. And he's blocking to the head. And if there's anything I need to figure out, I want to figure out if there's a way I can combo a pull uppercut with a body kick. But again, he's getting rocked again. It's only a matter of time. Just chipping away. Drop him there. But Jesus Christ, the toughness of Connor. The toughness of Connor in this game. I think it's like a 95 or something. Chin's a 97 in featherweight. Body health is a 96. The dude is a creative fighter. He's like a creative fighter. And I noticed with this guy, I'm like, alright, if there's anything you lived up to with BJJ grapplers, that you're not letting me just get easy denials off. But managed to get the side control. I don't want to get to a position where he gets to stall out against the fence. Got the denial off, gets a backside. I hear this again. 2 minutes on the clock. I'm clearly up on the scorecard saying it's around 5. This guy's denials are really good when it comes to the ground, but he chooses to break. But now he's up against the cage. And if a tie clinch, he denies that. My body health is way too high for that kick to do anything. Fire off a knee, elbow, straight lead hook, high kick is the block breaker against the cage, and this fight is over.
Let's go.
Now, when it comes to high kicks and big strikes, they generally have good bleed through. So if the punches are rocking them and the punches are dropping them, ideally, you want to fire off a head kick, especially when they're against the cage, for that bleed-through damage to sit through because their head off is low, the block is probably low.
Kick, let's go.
And usually it'll lead to like a GG no re. But, decent fight when it comes to defense. I stayed disciplined with my game plan, and I managed to get the dub with the straight lead hook high kick. So, onto this final fight for this video. I have Stephen Thompson.
Okay.
Now, I fought this player before.
You know, it catches me off guard now when people go for clinch attempts. Like, I just don't. I look at it. I'm like, is he clinching me? Oh shit, he clinched me.
Yeah, I don't know why. Before I used to be able to deny the clinch relatively easily. I can always deny the tie clinch or a beat trip relatively easily now. But the regular single collar clinch, I really like that they changed the animation for that because it is very sneaky. It is very sneaky and it puts your opponent on notice. But now with Stephen Thompson, I fought Stephen Thompson earlier, and he didn't really utilize his distance well. But when I have Thompson, I'm looking to pick apart my opponent from the outside. I don't want to throw more than 3 strikes in the pocket. When it comes to box exchanges, I want to keep my strikes as straight strikes, as those take the least amount of stamina for Thompson when it comes to punches. There I went jab uppercut, but with Thompson, because I know he's not a boxer, because I know he's not somebody that thrives in the pocket, if I rock Robbie Lawler, especially somebody that has the vengeance perk, it's not ideal for me to try to pursue that finish. I want to keep him on the outside. I want to keep him at the end of my leg reach. And I want to gauge out his reaction. I want to see if he's trying to slip. I want to see if he's looking to initiate grappling. And if he fires off a head kick, doesn't do much damage there. Short-term stamina was low, and he gets rocked again. But that's fine. Not going to pursue the finish. Here, round 1, it's too early, especially against Robbie. But with Thompson, I'm moving laterally, I'm moving to the left, moving to the right. Good body straight lead hook. And he gets rocked again. I don't know, maybe Robbie is broken. I really never really rocked Robbie this much, especially in round 1, but it has to be that he's inputting a little bit too soon. And all I'm doing is I'm just closing distance, coming in, seeing how he reacts, maybe delaying my strikes, feinting, intercepting him with the oblique kick, something my opponent King Fame should have done against me. And that's a bad mistake there. If he had been able to see my stamina and he shot a double, he would have been able to take me down. So one side kick for good measure, see how he reacts, see if he's going to try to sidestep. Goes to the jab, rear hook uppercut, trying to catch me as I duck, because I do have a tendency of ducking the third strike. And that was a really good clinch entry, but relatively easy break. He wasn't moving into me, so that side kick didn't push him back. And there's a little bit of slight delay that you guys can see. And nice, he was going to go for the pull counter. So you see that? I'm using my strikes to gauge reaction. I'm not fully committing to everything. Notice I went jab, uppercut, and I pulled the hook. way. And this is how I would say is the best way to play with Thompson. Stay on the back foot. Right, you're going to stay on the back foot. And you're not going to get overzealous. You see that right there? Taking my time. Keep my mental notes up. And to me, whenever I fight like this with Thompson, this is a win for me. I don't have to drop you. But if I know that you're likely getting frustrated because I'm keeping you at a distance and it feels like it's impossible for you to hit me, then that's a mental win within itself. I want to have not only victories in the game when it comes to head up and whatnot, and like body health events and everything, but I want to have mental wins too. I want to make the guy feel like, dude, what do I have to do to hurt this guy? What do I have to do to touch this guy? Pause. To even like just get some kind of hits done. Now, I don't really start to open up with like the block breaking combinations with Thompson because especially early in round one, those drain a lot of stamina. But I know I rocked him 3 times, so I'm going to benefit by a slight margin in the pocket. His stamina is relatively high. He did a really good job making sure that he landed on my block as well. But the damage is there. And there he's going jab, lead hook. And that's nice. I don't see a lot of players do that. Go rear body uppercut, lead hook. Usually it's the other way around. And now he's going for the clinch attempt again. After 2 strikes is his clinch window. You see that? He goes for like a movie slip, but it's usually 2 strikes, and he goes for a clinch. So I managed to deny that relatively easily. But I can only wonder if you have Robbie Lawler. That I don't know. It doesn't seem like somebody that I would choose if I wanted to grapple. I would choose Kamaru. Kamaru has really good health stats when it comes to being in the pocket. Has good toughness. I think his toughness is 95, and he could grapple. You know, he has grapple stamina for days. And I don't think Robbie has a low single. I'm not too confident. So it's an interesting pick for somebody who's over pursuing the clinch. But that was really good. Jab, lead hook, rear high kick. I haven't seen that. I have not seen people throw that. I throw straight lead hook high kick, but not jab, lead hook high kick. But good uppercut, intercepted. But he doubled up on the body hooks and ate an uppercut on the way down. Got the drop. And right now, he's in my world, but I knew he was going to go for the takedown, so I held R2 and down when he caught my punch. Excuse the delay there in the video. Eventually gets the over-under. Could fake it all these different directions. Get a single collar because a lot of people like to pre-deny up. Throwing a few fakes here. Just throw his timing off, and I managed to get the break, but it's not really too safe to double up on body hooks, especially in this game when it comes to vulnerability and ducking down into strikes. But right now, I'm in cruise control. He's overreacting to all my strikes. I'm letting all the strikes on his block. I'm keeping my stamina high. He's trying to figure out my timing. I'm not overreacting to the things that he's doing. And he's just hoping for me to make a mistake. And I learned my lesson from that first fight. I'm going to stay consistent with this game plan. And then I notice he's trying to lunge away from my side kicks. His block isn't broken yet from that combination, but he's rocked there. Shoulder saves him from the question mark kick. He's rocked. Goes for a ducking slip uppercut, but look, he tries to time a duck against the high kick that never came. He's conditioned to believe that it's going to happen. He gets dropped again, mistimed, a minor back sway. Goes for a slip, straight uppercut. Good head kick attempt there. Good pull. It managed to block and pull that. But this has to be a 10-8 round heading into round 3 with Stephen Thompson. I'm in a good spot here. Now you notice how like the player is good. Like you notice he tried to pull the jab uppercut hook. He did the right thing. He tried to pull it, but I canceled my strike. I go for 1-2. He tries to duck in anticipation of a head kick. So he does have like certain things ingrained into him that he will counter off of. But I'm a little bit of a step ahead. A little bit more than that actually at this point. But now he's trying to go big. You know, he wants to catch me. He's like, damn it, I'm down 2 rounds. And if he wanted to win this fight, ideally for him, it'd have to be just going balls to the wall, but at punching range, you can't really afford to do that at my kicking range. A good slip. He should have used that slip as an opportunity to get the single collar, and that's his mistake. Now I'm teeing off at him. Going off for the front kick. Watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to break his block with round strikes, and then break it. Finish it off with a straight strike, and he tries to slip. Eats the hook, circling away from the cage, and that fight is over with.
That is a showcase.
And that is why I love using Stephen Thompson. Just going to run that final sequence back. If there's anything you guys should definitely add, instead of breaking the block always with straight strikes, try doing it with round strikes, and you'll see the opportunities like this open up. The block will get overcommitted, and you can finish the fight or drop them off of that straight strike that comes up down the middle. Now, I was talking about how like the game said, oh, nice knee to finish the fight, even though I clearly ended him with a hook. But that's it for like my ranked analysis, or at least trying to give a breakdown of what I'm thinking or what's going through my head or what I could have done right when it came to these ranked fights. And overall, how do I pick up on what my opponents are doing and what adjustments I have to make. But yeah, leave a like for the video, drop a comment if you want to see anything else for the next video. Romero17, I am out of here.